How long do you think it's going to take to get United challenging for those trophies again that you just mentioned?
4 years, 4 years. But, purely because, first, I have belief in Manchester United to make the right appointments, to get an experience. You can't get someone just because they played at the club, just because they're good on television, just to come and step into Manchester United and do a director of football. Actually, the one person I think you could do is get Gary Neville on the board. I think Gary Neville would absolutely shake things up. First, he talks a lot of sense. You see it in his Monday Night Clubs. You see it in his tweets. Sorry, Monday Night Football, and in his tweets as well. But also his energy. You know, he's exactly what Manchester United need. You want someone stroppy. You want someone who challenges people. You want someone who says, actually, this culture's not right at the club. I know Gary's got so many things in his life. But absolutely, that's what Manchester United need. But in terms of the director of football role, it can't be a Phelan. It can't be a Rio Ferdinand. It has to be someone who has done that job for 15, 20 years. So, maybe not as long as that, but someone who is experienced, who knows how to negotiate, who's got contacts all around the world, who can work with a young coach, and Solskjaer still is a young coach. But that's the reason why I'm saying it's 3 to 4 years. Is I think Manchester United will definitely improve. Of course, you're a great club, and there are people in there who will fight for Manchester United. But also, excuse me, Liverpool and Manchester City will just go again next season, and the gap, there could easily be another 20-point gap to third, fourth.
Do you think with the right backing, Ole can get this right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Look, every manager fails eventually. Not every manager can walk off into the sunset like Sir Alex. And even Sir Alex went with 5-5. I was there at West Brom, and in a way, the romantic ending, the Hollywood ending, would have been for Sir Alex to walk off with a sort of 6-5 win. Yeah. But football doesn't work like that. Football's a fickle mistress, and 5-5, in a way, probably Ferguson thought, actually, yeah, that makes my achievements even greater because it shows the competition that I was up against. I think Solskjaer can do it if he's backed, if he has a director of football. I think if he genuinely... some people freeze in that job, and I don't think Solskjaer will, but I think he's got to have the courage of his convictions. He's got to say, right, we are going to cut the loss, and it's going to cost us a lot financially. Maybe in pride, the players we bought in, like an Alexis Sanchez, maybe like a Lukaku, possibly Martial, and actually say, I'm sorry, we're going to move on. We're going to promote certainly Greenwood and Garner, and maybe Manchester United will struggle for results for a bit, but they have been with a major squad. But Manchester United will come again. The history. Look, I'm an outsider, but I go to Manchester United and I look at the people there. I look at the history of the club. You walk through the Munich tunnel. You talk to the staff there, and I always get the impression with Manchester United. People who work at Manchester United, who sort of have the sort of the blazer on with a little sort of crest on it, when they go home, the first thing they do is that they hang the blazer up and they sort of dust it down, and then they close the door to the wardrobe. And it's not a job. It's a passion for the people who work there. You listen. We've been talking about the away support, huge away support. You look at Old Trafford. It's just 70,000. You go there and it's just heaving. You go into the club shop. You go on social media. You go onto the fans forums. Manchester United are absolutely huge. Even in 5-6 years of a downturn, the passion for Manchester United remains. There's no apathy there. There's a desire to improve. There's a hunger. Wherever I go in the world, I always take loads of, because I go to 140, 150 games a season, I always take a bunch of programs. Wherever I go, you're going past a school, or you're going into, you go into township or whatever, wherever you go, people, and you say, I've got some football programs. Manchester United is the one they want. Manchester United is still beats strongest around the world. So with that passion, if the Glazers say, right, we're going to spend £300 million on 4 players, and if Koulibaly, who's a good centre-half, the type of leader, but what they've got to do, which Manchester United haven't done in recent years, I don't think properly enough, it's not just about buying good players, it's about buying good characters, about buying good leaders. Valencia, Why is Valencia captain of the most important football club for me in the country? It's crazy. It should be someone who just he's just not a leader for me. Okay, where are the Vidiches? Where are the Keanes? Where are the Pallisters, the Bruces, individuals like that? You can go further back. Do you know what? I walked into the press room and I see some of the people who are going on MUTV, and I look at Paddy Cray and I think he's got more about Manchester United as a leader at 70 odd. Sorry, Paddy, I know you're 21. Than some of the players who are going out there. So it's about buying good characters as well as good players.
Just one final question then, Henry, on transfers. You mentioned Koulibaly. Do you see that happening? And do you see
it's Manchester United?
Yeah.
I know you're not in the you're not in the Champions League, but it's still Manchester United. And I know it's Manchester, not London. And you talk to foreign players, and they all say, "Oh, I want to go to London," and that is an issue. But sorry, you can go and live in Northern Edge, one of the most beautiful places. You know, you look at what's happening in the city, Manchester. Now, what great, fantastic apartments to live in. Great nightlife if you want that. You know, it's a really good place to live. So, excuse me. So absolutely, Manchester United can compete, but you need a director of football who can go and convince a player that Manchester United is a legitimate footballing project, and you will get back in the Champions League. Because the Champions League's huge. You have to. That's what sells big clubs to players, as well as money.
One final word on that. Convincing players. Do you see United convincing Paul Pogba that his future stays in Manchester? Because that's a big question a lot of fans have had, and we've seen the recent debate and the video we've seen, you know, with fans giving him stick or whatever, and there's sort of rumours that he's not happy, he's going to Madrid and they want him as a marquee summer signing.
Do you know, I actually thought it was a positive that Paul Pogba went over and talked to the fan. Now, you can have an argument about should the fan have said that and the reaction, but I thought fair play to Pogba, you know, because he must have known that he would get a little bit of criticism, and he went over there. I actually thought that showed a leader. I was quite impressed with that, and it didn't work out as everyone wanted it, but I've got a lot of time for Pogba. I think someone, just a major, who would be the director of football, but a strong individual who is experienced, who sat down with Paul Pogba and said, right, we've got a coach, a young manager, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who loves this club, who's good tactically, but what he needs in his team, he needs leaders. He needs someone like you, Paul, you know, to actually drive. He wants to build this team around you, and this is for the director of football to have that. Woodward can't go and say that to him. Woodward will go and look at Paul Pogba and think money, emojis, and things like that. You know, and that's no disrespect to Woodward, because that's his background, his commercial background. But it just needs a football man to actually talk to him. Now, the problem Manchester United have got is obviously the Zidane connection, Real Madrid, and Real Madrid is Real Madrid. So you can understand that. I'm sure Chelsea lose Hazard to there as well, Champions League as well. I read all these pieces about, get rid of Pogba. I hear on television, sorry, you're losing someone who won a World Cup. You're losing the heartbeat. I mean, I covered all those games of the World Cup, a lot of the French games. He was fantastic. He's a leader. He just needs the right love around him, the right tactics as well. And I think Solskjaer can give that to him. Make him captain, build around him. The young players love him. And who are you going to replace Paul Pogba with? John Joe Shelby. I mean, you know, seriously, who? Yeah. Seriously, who?
That's the kicker. He's such a divisive character, Paul Pogba, and player with our viewers. There's some that say get rid of him, and there's probably a lot more like myself that say we need to keep him if we can.
He can be an absolute hero, a legend at Manchester United. If he goes to Real Madrid, who are rebuilding, he might make more money, and he will be important for them. But I don't think he will have that love and the loyalty if he stayed at Manchester United and fought. And not just fought occasionally, just fought every game. But make him captain, make him feel loved, build around him. Look, as a neutral, I don't like seeing talent leave the country. You know, I think we've got the best coaches in the world. I don't think we've necessarily got all the best players in the world. We're going to lose Hazard. I think it would be devastating for English football if we lost Paul Pogba. And I think it would be. I understand, the antipathy towards him. Does he do it consistently enough? But there's a player there, and if you can bring that out on a consistent level, Manchester United will be winners again.
Well, hopefully, Henry, it's been great
pleasure.
chatting to you. Really good chatting to you.
I enjoyed it.
And hopefully, we can keep Pogba and bring in some players and get challenging again. Guys, thanks for watching. This has been Full Time Devils with Henry Winter. You can check out Henry's football writing at the Times. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.